As became commonplace in 2020, things that would have otherwise been straightforward became very topsy-turvy. In the world of gaming, we discussed how the medium allowed for escapism beyond the norm.
The world of anime proved no different, but because of the unexpected events of the year and the formation of our weekly anime podcast, DEE, in the midst of it, we found ourselves in a very typical 2020 conundrum.
While our collective industry work has not caused conflicts of interest in the past, this year we faced the issue of our own team members having leading roles in the English adaptations of some of our top contenders. As a result, we are reluctantly choosing to remove these shows from consideration to avoid such conflicts. However, we do want to take this moment to celebrate the accomplishments of our teammates Emi, Lo, and Franji, who we couldn't be more proud of.
Having personally known each of them for a very long time and seen their journey along the way, we couldn't be prouder of being able to add this new requirement to our selection process, which represents some of the purest joy we got to experience during an otherwise very gloomy year. Congrats, you two. The entire team here at Digital Era Entertainment, and myself personally, are so very proud of both of you. Honored to call you our friends, and we look forward to the new and exciting adventures 2021 hopes to bring for both of you. MMO-inspired narratives have seen quite the uptick since Sword Art Online's meteoric rise this past decade. Unsurprisingly, this decade kicks off with one of the most refreshing and original takes on this motif in Bofuri, I Don't Want to Get Hurt, so I'll max out my defense. What makes Bofuri a particular breath of fresh air is that it serves to be the most wholesome show of this sort by actively flying in the face of almost every trope in its genre. Its protagonists are friends who just want to have fun and go on adventures. The bonds they forge with fellow players along the way derive from good-natured competition. And every time the series has the opportunity to indulge in the genre's darker themes, it nonchalantly shrugs and says, "Why would I do that when I'm having so much fun already?" With all these attributes and more working for it, this series ended up proving to be both a strong entry to this genre and a strong start to anime in the 2020s as a whole.
The latest breakout from the legendary pages of Weekly Shonen Jump, Jujutsu Kaisen debuted with the energy and bombast one would expect. While building up its world and preparing for the old reliable tournament arc, it also pulls the rug out from under viewers in a very rare fashion early on in the season, while also providing wholesome character-building moments, bone-crunching action, and one of the best sensei characters we've seen in a while in Gojo Sensei. Featuring a killer soundtrack and utterly creepy ambiance and creature designs, this adaptation of Akutami Sensei's manga will certainly be burned into your retinas in the best possible way.
Hot anime Sherlock characters. Moving along. Just kidding. Not kidding about the hot characters, though. Production IG's renowned talent is on full display, making the world and characters look, well, just look at them. But the appeal here is more than skin deep. Moriarty the Patriot offers a fascinating interpretation of the character widely considered to be literature's first supervillain, while taking more from Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's writing than just character names and basic behaviors. Amidst tales of revenge, monologues of cunning deduction, and groundwork being laid for the already confirmed second season, there are frequent details that will catch the attention of true Sherlockians. There's even a full recreation of the first Holmes novel, A Study in Scarlet. While it's obvious the series has no intention of shackling itself to its source material, there is clear reverence throughout and smart, gripping writing befitting the Napoleon of crime.
Appearances can be deceiving, and such is the case with Talentless Nana, which combines an intelligent, plot-heavy run with an unexpectedly detailed character study for the conclusion. While it doesn't excuse the titular protagonist's actions, as it outright lets the audience question whether her motives are right or wrong, or whether her rival Kyoya should be who we root for, it solidifies this entry as one that, contrary to the title, is quite talented at the storytelling it attempts. An addicting narrative that offers much for the show's future in any additional seasons, we look forward to seeing if Nana will find redemption, as well as following her in her future exploits. From the creator of Great Teacher Onizuka comes a hilarious and heartwarming tale of a single father doing everything he can to ensure that his daughter Hime, literally his precious little princess, has a wonderful childhood, while also doing everything he can to ensure she doesn't learn of his deep, dark secret, the fact that he is an ecchi mangaka. This endearing slice-of-life series has 3 primary flavors of stories, ones that focus on Hime and her whimsical innocence, those focusing on Goto and his work, and tales centered on the 2 of them together as father and daughter. Along the way, the 2 meet many colorful characters, exponentially increasing the size of their small family. Accented with just the right amount of drama, this show is ultimately a sweet, uplifting comedy about family. And what happens when you become paranoid about not telling your family that you're a famous author and artist behind acclaimed series such as Balls of Fury and Tights in the Wind.
In a year that saw Korean manhwa adapted in enthusiastic fashion by Crunchyroll, we also saw the mega-popular Chinese donghua Heaven Official's Blessing brought to our screens by Bilibili, China's mainstay streaming platform. Brought over to the West courtesy of Funimation, the series can be best defined as bold. In addition to lush, gorgeous animation and equally gorgeous character designs that make an impact at first glance, it features an engrossing story that constantly pushes boundaries of censorship in its home nation, making this groundbreaking foray a must-see for fans of Eastern animation as a whole.
Over the past decade, isekai shows have gone from being a known but niche subgenre to one of the most common plot devices in anime. Similarly, romantic comedies, harem shows, and light novel adaptations with overly long titles are a dime a dozen. By all rights, My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom should be a mundane, cookie-cutter show. And yet, it's not. Both the protagonist and the series flout the expectations set before them with reckless abandon and to great success. Wielding nothing but a heart of gold and the knowledge of the otome game that constitutes her new reality, Katarina becomes a black hole, a being that warps everything around her and is very, very dense. How warped? How dense? Warped enough to make every major character fall in love with her, regardless of gender, including the game's heroine. And dense enough for her to be completely oblivious to the fact that they're all head over heels for her. There's a reason this series has earned the nickname Bakarina. Fun, witty, and endearing, this is a delightful bisexual harem rom-com that shouldn't be missed.
Among the many hallmarks of anime as a medium is the breadth of topics and subjects it covers. In doing so, it more often than not has the added bonus of covering them in ways that can bring in people from outside those specific bubbles. Such was the case with Smile Down the Runway, a show as masterfully crafted as the outfits featured throughout its run. Telling the interwoven tale of both an aspiring fashion designer and runway model, the series exhibits what goes into the craft of fashion and all the nuance of runway modeling in ways that prove informative as well as exhilarating. Though it promises more story to come, the season we were given features brisk pacing with an excellent balance between the 2 narratives, and an intriguing, fleshed-out supporting cast. The show also hit many poignant emotional beats that should be relatable to many, and is a healthy heaping of slice of life with the inspirational spirit of the best shonen that will leave both tears in your eyes and a smile on your face from start to finish.
Netflix doesn't exclusively license and co-produce many anime each year, but they're developing an extremely high batting average. Last year, we named Carol and Tuesday our anime of the year, and Netflix came dangerously close to claiming our top spot again with the bombastic thriller that is Great Pretender. What starts off as an already strong and exciting story of Robin Hood conmen and their capers eventually spirals into a set of gripping tales of life, love, and loss, accentuated by stunning visuals, a jazzy soundtrack, and powerful performances by both the Japanese and English casts. In fact, if English is your first language, we actually recommend watching the dub first. The acting is extremely strong, and the series is such a spectacle that you don't want to lose even a split second reading subtitles. While Netflix may have walked away with the silver this year, it's an extremely strong silver. If you haven't seen it already, make sure to add this one to your queue.
And now for this year's honorable mentions.
Anime of the Year.
The bright and vibrant mood of our top entry, which came out at the literal start of 2020, flew in stark contrast to the rest of the year. And while anime offerings across the coming months still provided a very eclectic assortment as usual, when the pandemic and roller coaster of concurrent global events began to take its toll on the amount of releases throughout the year, as well as the collective psyche, it became very apparent that whatever would stand out as the anime of the year would have to provide both supremely high quality, but also something more than the norm. Though thankfully less dramatically than in the live-action world of Hollywood filmmaking, where we eagerly await Sonic the Hedgehog taking Best Film at the 2021 Oscars.
Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken is the kind of fare that would certainly take top honors at those awards. A whimsical, cheery, easy-breezy piece centered on the craft of animated storytelling. Watching the three protagonists come together and grow into a production team, as well as the presentation of collaboration with other specialists when their vision becomes more ambitious than what the trio can handle, is a beautiful representation of the best parts of creating entertainment media.
One of its unique strengths is the depiction of childlike creativity, portrayed immaculately in the show's storyboard scenes when the actors perform their own sound effects when conceptualizing their projects. It hits not just creators who have no doubt had those moments, even in adulthood, but anyone who can recollect memories of childhood play with friends, family, or themselves. It also stands as a very touching vision of togetherness, friendship, and community during a year where people were both more separated and fragmented than ever.
As with our trifecta that made up 2020's Game of the Year winner, and with a more delicate, innocent touch than our inaugural Anime of the Year winner, Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken was not just a work that was accessible to all ages and all interests, but one that shone the brightest light in the darkness, and made it easier to remember that with the desire to create, the resourcefulness to do so with whatever you've got at hand, and the power of community, even when separated by distance, great art can come from the most unexpected places.
Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us across social media for updates. Thanks for watching!